Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge. This episode of Total Retail is brought to you by Business Schooled, a podcast from Synchrony. Initialized Capital and Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian meets baby boomers and Gen Xers who've created businesses that are built to last. Join him as he travels the country learning business and life lessons from these brilliant minds.
Hi, and welcome to episode 179 of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, Executive Editor of Total Retail. Joining me today is Shelagh Stoneham, the Senior Vice President of Marketing at Chico's. We're going to be discussing the women's clothing and accessory retailers' How Bold Are You social campaign. Thanks for joining me today, Shelagh.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So let's start by having you tell our audience a little bit about Chico's How Bold Are You campaign and kind of how this social video activation with the partnership fits into that strategy.
Well, Chico's launched our How Bold Are You campaign in spring of 2018, and we used it to embrace age positivity. We knew that our customer was not one age, one size, or one ethnicity. And so in order to build that relationship with her, that connectivity, we want to inspire her to live her boldest life. So it wasn't about creating a campaign for just one season, single season. Like, we're not just one and done. You know, we really want to spark an ongoing conversation with her. And so, so as I said, we've launched in this spring, and now the next iteration of the campaign, we're looking to make sure that we continue the conversation on social media, because we know that's a medium where dialogue can really flourish. So we thought about, showing the reactions of women being asked to wear their age on their shirt, because we thought that it could really help to provoke the conversation. And interestingly, the Ant Partnership, who were part of an agency pitch about a year ago now, this was part of their idea that they came up with in order to win our business. And we changed virtually nothing about what they presented. We were just so enthralled with the idea. But the ultimate litmus test, of course, is how our customers would respond to it, and whether they would engage. And they really did. So frankly, just wanted to give them a way to share the conversation with their friends, and this is how the idea for the Bold Filter came about. Yeah,
so when you worked with the best-selling author and entrepreneur Lee Woodruff on this campaign, so I'm interested in why you believed that was the right person to lead this, How Bold Are You campaign, and, kind of, the conversation around women getting to reveal, their ages in a social and public forum like that.
Well, and that's a great question. We've worked with Lee in the past, and we have a fantastic relationship with her. We really admire her because she embodies all things bold. She really does live life on her own terms, and she embraces her age. As you can tell, she's upbeat, she's stylish, she's engaging, and frankly, she's really funny too. She with her husband have been through some really terrible times. I don't know if you know this, but he was hit by a roadside bomb while covering the Iraq War for ABC News. And what they did was they turned this really terrible event into a positive. Into a positive by raising millions of dollars for wounded veterans through the Woodruff Foundation. So she's really the sort of the driving force behind it. She's very much one of them when we think of bold. And it's not really so much as how you dress, but your attitude. You are somebody who takes life, takes life and embraces it and lives life on your own terms of whatever age and stage you're at. And we were really thrilled when she agreed to do this with us.
Yeah. And one of the aspects of the campaign is this Facebook Messenger bot. I'm interested in how that kind of aligns with the How Bold Are You campaign, and specifically the video you've worked with Lee Woodruff.
Well, the bot is truly a bold way to use Facebook, as you probably agree, and it's a way to make it even easier for women to express their boldness. It's another way for them to engage with the age positivity conversation and really to tell their own story. So it's instead of pushing content, we're actually creating a platform and inspiring women to tell their own story, and we also ask their friends to share. So it's part of not just our community, but the broader community. And the clothes, while the heart of our brand, of course, are really secondary to the conversation. We're really inviting the women to share their experiences.
Yeah, that was one of the interesting things I found about the campaign is it's really not merchandise driven. It's really about the attitude of the customer and creating that engagement with the customer, and via social media in a lot of cases. So maybe you want to talk about that. It's kind of a different approach for a retailer to kind of, put the merchandise aside almost, so to speak, and focus really around the customer persona.
So to answer your question, I think that there is something timeless about building a relationship between a retailer and a customer, but I think it's often forgotten in this age of transactional online selling. Customers crave a personalized experience and a relationship with a retailer, and that is just part of human nature. And retailers have known forever that this is a key to building a successful business. But in this day and age, it is just not something which is acknowledged and embraced by retailers as frequently. And part of Chico's brand heritage, part of our DNA, is creating what we call our most amazing personal service. And that's because we truly care about our customers. We try and understand them. We're interested in them. And we think it's just not enough to simply have a great product. We do have a great product, by the way. But in order to build that great relationship, that enduring relationship, brands have to authentically stand for something that resonates emotionally with their customer and their customer's lifestyle. So they have to be interested in them, they have to know them, and they have to, as I said, create this connection. And for Chico's, we really want to shift perception around our brand and increase consideration. We're sort of setting our brand to be relevant not just for our previous generations, but for the next generation as well. And we knew that by asking, how bold are you? We'd resonate with our current customer and attract like-minded new customers. We did some research before we even, launched this whole campaign, and it came back very favorable on both fronts. And now that it's launched, it is proven to be so, and we're very, very grateful. So as I said, it was a showcase, for us to demonstrate that ages are relevant to enjoying life and style.
Yeah.
That we understand her and we see her and we appreciate her.
Yeah, it's interesting that kind of that emotional connection with the consumer, especially in an environment where Chico's operating in. It is so competitive in the women's apparel space. That kind of that paradox of choice. Your consumers have so many options that they can choose from. Why do they want to choose? Why do they want to shop with Chico's? It's really about creating that personal connection to get them, engaged with the brand, and then ultimately, creating a loyalty aspect behind it as well.
Every retailer, you're absolutely so true. Every retailer, at one time or another, inadvertently missteps, operationally, or a package doesn't get there in time because there is a shipping delay with the courier service or whatever. Things just happen, right?
Yep.
But when brands have a connection with customers and they relate to them, then we know that there's a forgiveness. Because it's not transactional. It is truly a relationship. So we sell so much more than clothes. We actually offer an experience.
So like any marketing campaign, and this whole How Bold Are You campaign being no different, I'm imagining, before you embarked on this, that you kind of, had a meeting, and you had, lots of meetings probably, in terms of, identifying, what are the goals? What do we hope to accomplish with this campaign? And can you talk to us a little bit about kind of what the goals you set for this are, and then kind of what the results, what have you realized since you've launched this How Bold Are You campaign?
As mentioned previously, our customer is incredibly loyal and has a strong relationship with us, and we're very blessed with that. The opportunity for us, though, is to get on the radar and be part of the consideration set for a new generation of customers. And in so doing, this campaign is intended to run across generations and to drive not only top-of-mind awareness, but increase brand consideration for our target. And the results today have been very positive. So we're so thrilled with our early success that we're, as I mentioned, looking to evolve the campaign and work on the next chapter for 2019.
Great. And then, we talked a little bit about kind of the customer reaction to this campaign. It's kind of a taboo subject, asking, a woman their age. What has your customer reaction been like? And is it, kind of what you thought it would be, or is, any surprises since you've started this?
I have to say, regardless of whether you do research or not in advance of launching a campaign, in this day and age of social media, where customers, and we're blessed with customers that are very vocal, particularly on Facebook, you never know exactly what kind of reaction you're going to get. You hope it's going to be favorable and be reflective of the preliminary research, and so this. I guess the pleasant surprise was just how little pushback there was from women in terms of embracing this notion of age positivity. They're actually, it seems to be one of the last taboos around, which is, women have, there's some expectation that they never can get older, and if they get older, there are certain things they shouldn't be doing. Well, in actual fact, women, as they get older, they become far more interesting and confident and fun and come into their own. And we're just encouraging women to live life on their own terms. And it is truly hitting a very positive chord.
Yep. And then my final question, Sheila, is going forward, how does this How Bold Are You campaign that you're currently, engaged with and running now, how do you continue to reinforce that as core to the Chico brand values that you've spoken of?
Well, we sort of view the ecosystem as being one great big platform, and everything we do has to run through that filter and be on brand. So everything ladders up to sort of the How Bold Are You? So everything from our social media posts to our mailers to our emails to, frankly, even how we set our floors when a new floor set comes in, and the signage that we use. We think about that lens and make sure that we are true to it.
Great. Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank Shelagh Stoneham of Chico's for joining me today. Please check out our podcast channel page, mytotalretail.com/podcasts, for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. But make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. Thanks, and I look forward to you joining us on the next episode of Total Retail Talks.
This episode is brought to you by Business Schooled, a podcast by Synchrony. We're here to help people and businesses grow into their future. Meet us at synchrony.com.